I think ready is the appropriate wording today. I think most people are ready for this thing. Excited about the potential, obviously, of, what's possible. What's possible is Florida State goes up there and adds to the woes and the frustrations of Clemson fans, players, coaches. That's the hope. And I believe that it is entirely possible. I don't know that I would, with great gusto, tell you that it's going to happen. There are some matchup issues for Florida State, and some things that teams in the conference have been able to expose about Clemson that I'm not sure we're capable of exposing. But there are other aspects of this game that we are 100% capable of ratcheting up the intensity and the frustrations as we explore Clemson's weakened offensive line, in particular in the interior. And I think Florida State has a distinct advantage in this game at that one spot. This is screaming to me low scoring if there aren't big plays, if there aren't busts. I don't know that either team is going to have a lot of success driving the field against the other. I don't feel like that is going to be in the cards. You might get some big plays because there's some athletes out here. Clemson still has a couple guys out on the perimeter that you worry about if there are busts in our secondary. So communication continues to be key. Those guys, for the most part, have avoided the glaring bust where somebody's running wide open, really post second half of the Louisville game. We haven't seen a ton of those busts. We haven't seen the communication breakdown that we saw at the beginning of the season, which was omnipresent, quarter to quarter, game to game. And then slowly but surely began to dissipate as they became more and more certain about who they liked in that secondary. And those guys got the vast majority of the playing time, the reps. And that helps. Those reps help, and that communication helps. That trust helps. The confidence that's built from doing it right and having success, that has been something we've seen more and more of, and that's exciting. And then I think from there, I would suggest that, the other side of the ball is where I worry, is Florida State's offense going against Clemson's defense. This is a game, an opportunity. Coaches love to say this all the time, and anytime you're playing a team that's, let's say, ranked higher than you, like if you think about basketball over the years, in the last few years in particular, when Florida State has taken on a Duke or somebody like that, and they've had an opportunity to take on a higher-ranked team on the road, Leonard Hamilton always talks about it's a great test, but he also points out to his team through the press that this is your chance. Here now you're tested in a way you haven't been. Can you prove to yourself and everybody else that you're ready for this moment, that it's not too big for you? In short, it's a hell of an opportunity. Well, I think that's true of this offensive coaching staff, Mike Norvell, Kenny Dillingham. It's a hell of an opportunity to show that you can come up with a game plan here against a group that you are outmatched by up front. Really, Clemson outmatches almost everybody when it comes to their defense versus an opposing offense. They have one of the elite defenses in the country. Now, that defense can get worn down and is not immune to getting frustrated by the impotence of an offense. How many times have you seen it? How many times over the years, both in professional football and in college football, where a team has a strong unit, a stronger unit than the opposing, the other side of the ball, whatever it might be, right? This segment group is our strength. Well, in this case of Clemson, it's pretty much the entirety of that defense. They're out there all the time trying to win football games for their team because the offense cannot score, doesn't move the ball, too many 3-and-outs. And at some point, that group, which possesses a lot of talent, decides to go through the motions. And we don't know. Clemson could be on the precipice of going through the motions. I think if I were a Clemson fan this week, I'd be on the lookout for just that. If they're ratcheted up, if they're buttoned up, if they're intense, Florida State's going to have a hard time moving the ball against that team. If that defense is looking over at that offense with a whole lot of what is it you say you do here in their eyes, then maybe, just maybe, we watch that program go into further disarray. And wouldn't it be great that we help further the process along? Wouldn't it be great to remind folks that these things don't last forever? Your time is nigh. It would be a beautiful time to make that announcement and to see this staff put together a game plan that exploits that, the fragile psyche of a program that is having a bitter disappointment of a season.
Yeah, I think, defensively for us, the game plan probably is going to mirror the North Carolina game plan, where if it's DJ or Pumachan, you guys can run, no problem, but you're not going to beat us over the top, right? So go ahead. If you want to use the quarterback's legs, we're going to give you that. And that might be alarming at times in the moment where you say, my God, are we going to put a spy on this guy? But there are bigger fish to fry. You don't want to get burned for 80 yards because for Clemson, every point means so much more than it used to the last 4 or 5 seasons. They don't score 20 points in regulation. The one thing I will say after watching the Pitt game is that I am worried, and we talked about this on, I think even last week for UMass week, where they're kind of like a time bomb with all those athletes, and you're just worried. They don't block it up, and they just lost their best interior offensive lineman to injury. It was the second drive of the game against Pitt.
Did you see his thank you to the media?
Brockhorst?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
It's touching.
Is it really?
It was well done. Yeah, it was well done. He'll choke you up a little bit. That kid right there is solid.
Well, he's been there forever, too. That's why.
There forever, and he
knows those people.
He said goodbye.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, good on you, buddy. Anyhow, go ahead.
Well, there are going to be some more opportunities for the interior to make plays because of his absence.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm worried about if you watch Will Shipley last weekend, and I combed over the Pitt game again, that dude tripped over his own feet twice and dropped a pass that all accounted for, those 3 plays, probably are worth 110 to 120 yards.
Yeah. Reminds you of the NC State game against Miami.
It does. Yes, it does. The drop especially, he's isolated on a linebacker, and that scares the hell out of me because they ended up motioning him out. They're 5 wide. They're going to
do it again here all day long.
They will, but we're not going to play man like Pitt. Like the Pitt game is a really hard game to take into account and say, okay, what can I learn for how Florida State's going to match up when their defense takes the field? Because I really believe the plan is going to be much closer to North Carolina, which is the antithesis of Pitt. They've done this for the last 4 or 5 seasons, and it's been really impressive. Their secondary plays physical.
Mm-hmm.
They get in your face, and they dare you to make plays.
Yeah.
Now, Clemson's guys could have dropped some passes, missed a couple easy throws. I don't know that they're going to get those opportunities against Florida State. What I like about our offense, though, on the other side going against their defense, is if you're going to pick a side to go exploit Clemson, you're actually going to try and do so on the ground. The way they cover is unbelievable. And we don't get open against mediocre coverage units.
Air.
Right?
We don't get open against air.
But what can open up pass plays for you?
Sure. Make it a safety, have to come down.
Yes.
Make them load the box, get a one-on-one, get a shot play, you roll them out. Any of those RPO looks, yeah, sure.
It's not quite Paul Johnson, Georgia Tech, but we are going to generate, if we can run the ball with any semblance of, non-major negative plays that force 3 and outs.
Can't lose first down.
If you can be neutral on those downs, you're going to get some shots over the top. This is a Jordan Travis game. If he's healthy for 60 minutes, I like our chances to win it, period.
I would say it is a Jordan Travis game. Can he stay healthy against that group who will hit you and is blessed with depth and talent? And I'm going to ask Jordan Travis to run his ass off. So I don't know if the answer is yes to that. None of us do. History suggests the answer is no to that, but I don't know. He's playing right now with great gusto and confidence. He's running when he has the opportunity. He looks like a kid who's having fun playing football again. That's all very encouraging as we head into that game. I think that is the way you got to win. Now, I will say the reason I think that's the way you have to win is because you can't do it any other way, meaning we're not equipped. Pitt could. Other teams who have a quarterback that can throw the ball consistently well from the pocket with a drop-back pass game can. We don't have it. It is a serious weakness for this Florida State team. They do not have a drop-back pass game. So when people say, well, you're gonna have to play it. They're gonna have, make you play them honest, or play you honest. Yeah, but you got to do it in a non-traditional manner. You can't just line up and say, well, this is we're gonna spread you out and throw the football. No, we're not. They won't believe that for a second, nor should they.
And Pitt, to a degree, didn't either. In fact, that was actually a really good matchup for Clemson, given that Pitt doesn't run the ball all that effectively. They needed to lean on Pickett, and in truth, Clemson lost that game in a lot of situations.
Well, they lost it because they hand the ball over for a touchdown.
Yep.
And that killed them because they only gave up, other than that, I guess it's a total of 20 points offensively. Still right. 20 points. If you can get us to 20, I'll take 20. But they did it through 300-plus yards in the air on 30-something pass attempts.
Right.
We can't throw the ball 30-plus times.
They had the bust on 4th down
to
Clemson, and that's obviously encouraging for us. There was a red zone interception from DJ.
Yes.
It's an ill-advised throw. Now, other quarterbacks are allowed to make those bad decisions, and they can account for our victories. That's fine.
Oh, sure, yeah. And force them to do that, yes.
If you're watching the flow of that game, how Pitt gets up 21-7 is highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely. If I'm a Clemson fan, I'm going, what in the world?
Oh, I watched the game. I'm with you, Tom. I watched the game. That game looked like a game Clemson was going to win. By the way it was playing, I was like, I don't know. Like Pitt fans were nervous in that game because of the way it was playing out. Now, Clemson made enough mistakes. The problem is they've made enough mistakes on offense in every game.
Yeah, consistently.
It's what they are. At this point, that's not an accident. We see outliers all the time when we look at the win expectancy, and you can look at win expectancy after these games and see like where the game shifted. That play cost Clemson the game. The pick six, well, if you want to call it that, he just handed them the ball.
Yeah.
That basically cost them the game. The whole win expectancy shifted dramatically in that moment. But I would just say that, again, what we have found is very definitely an identity. We have absolutely found something we can do and do well, something that we believe in and we return to time and again. But the downside is we had to because it's all we can do. We're not, unless you make a change at quarterback, that's really all we can do. And if you're that one-dimensional and that dimension gets shut down, you're in deep trouble. And I don't know if it'll get shut down. I don't know if Clemson even cares to play. We'll see. I don't know where their head's at. I'm going to be watching very carefully early in this game.
But given attrition and injuries, they're not exactly 2 years ago Clemson's front four. That's the one thing I'd say is they're good. Of course they are. Of course they are. They recruit like madmen in the trenches. But they're not the elite of the elite. So there is an opening there in the run game. And what I've seen with the Syracuse performance and the Pitt performance is if you run a little tempo, they can get out of line. That's the one thing that's happened to Venables over the years. You think about Dalvin's house call when he ran into the referee all those years ago and a couple of big plays we've hit over the years against Clemson. What is it? And what's the analysis from the booth every single time? It's, well, they had an alignment issue.
Yeah.
I think tempo can get them. I also think, if you're talking about one-dimensional, yes, I agree. If you're talking about run-pass splits, we are one-dimensional. But we can attack you 3 or 4 different ways on the ground. And I would think perimeter runs are actually, in this case, far better against Clemson. Things like speed options. I was looking at the formations we ran last week against UMass. I'm thinking, okay, I think I see what's going on here.
Yeah, you see what they're trying to do, yeah.
Yes. There might be, instead of long developing, pulling guard and H-back type runs, maybe straight ahead speed option kind of stuff. I think they're going to throw a bunch of different looks at them. So you're going to run it 3 or 4 different ways, but your run pass splits are still going to be heavy on the run.
Oh, without question. I mean, overwhelmingly so. We have figured that out most assuredly, and we leaned into it. We asked the question on the air when we did the pregame show, Tallahassee Game Day. Do you just further lean into what you are and just find more diverse ways to be that? And or do you work on your passing game knowing at some point somebody's going to shut that down and you're going to have to throw the ball, or you're going to get behind and have to throw the ball? No, not going to do it. That's what I've always admired. Now, listen, moving forward, and this is the argument Corey and I have all the time, he's in love with Jordan Travis. Like, he thinks he's the greatest quarterback to ever live. I don't. Not even close. But he does one thing really well, exceptionally well, elite, and that's great. And for now, that's what we need to have. But, yeah, if I could replace him with a guy who could do both, I most assuredly would. Now, that said, when we're arguing all the time about, the dimension of what Florida State is and what Jordan Travis is, moving forward, you have got to add to your offensive capabilities. You cannot be this going into next year. You have got to learn to do other things and be good at doing other things if you ever expect to A, play at a championship level, or B, certainly compete to win this conference, let's just say, right? This can't be it. Now, it's fine for now because it kept us from losing all of our games. That's, you had to get some traction, which we've talked about a lot on this show, and they have found traction. I'm worried that this one thing that we do well will get shut down by multiple teams in this part of the schedule because they're better equipped to do so than UMass, Syracuse, anybody else for that matter, okay? So I worry about. We'll see. Could very well be that Clemson's disinterested too. I mean, the one thing that's really worked in Florida State's favor beyond finding that identity is that the rest of this league is pretty much announced without question that they suck too.
Yeah, I guess my follow-up would be this. If Clemson's not disinterested, we have no chance to succeed on offense?
Little chance to succeed with any sustainability. You could put together a couple of drives. You might score a couple touchdowns on those drives, and that might be enough to get you a win. No, you will not sustain 10, 11, 12-play drives doing this if they shut that element down. We won't do it.
Yeah, I don't know that mostly against anybody we can sustain a 10 or 11-play drive with any consistency. But what I'm looking for right now, and this is to your point, right now I'm more about result than the process of how you get to the point total. Just get to the point total.
Sure.
And that's what they're doing, clearly. They're scrambling to do something that you don't really see too much of at Memphis. But if you can find a way to get to 24 points in this game.
Well, Jesus, you win the game.
I think it's possible, though. I think it's possible because there are other things that Jordan didn't employ in the last few weeks as he's gotten much more comfortable. I guess last 2 games, really. There are the RPO, the pass elements.
Yes, it is a run pass option, sure.
And we haven't been using the P part of the RPO.
For a couple of reasons.
Yeah, well, one was against North Carolina, you could choose either option, and both would be good for a touchdown in some circumstances.
Yeah, you didn't need to. I'm telling you, if I'm Brent Venables, I'm going to make you throw it.
If you can. If he runs the hell out of the read option, though, again, that accounts for 1 unblocked defender. All right, so 1 down. Here we go. Now you're getting closer to an even numbers advantage. All of this also supposes that, your guard play is constituted of healthy people.
I'm worried about that too. I'm not being negative. I'm just being objective in the sense that there will be teams in this part of the schedule starting this Saturday who are better equipped to shut that one thing down. UMass couldn't have stopped this. We could have ran an offense in which we twirled around 3 times before we decided to do anything, and we would have scored. So it could have been preposterous.
Right.
Those other teams, North Carolina, for whatever reason, really struggled with angles. If you go back and look at that game, they struggled with angles, and that's a testament to Atkins, and it's a testament to Jordan Travis's elusiveness, which he is elite at. And I will cop to that all day long. He is elite. You can draw it up however you want to draw it up as an opposing defensive coordinator and say, he can't get to this spot. You have to ensure he can't get to here. Well, that's easier said than done because that dude's fast and elusive, and he'll make you miss in a phone booth. And the next thing you know, he's out the gate, as Jimbo would like to say, and he's gone. Yeah. So that it's easier said than done. Agreed.
What's interesting about that, though, in watching Syracuse and Pitt play Clemson, Schrader got to the spot, and so did Pickett on Skalski a couple of times. Yeah, and if those dudes can get to the spot...
Skalski's a problem for us.
I know he is. Well, straight ahead he is. Yes, but what I'm saying is on the perimeter, I watched Pickett outrun him to the corner, and I'm thinking, well, if Pickett can do that, what can Jordan do if we can get in that situation?
Sure, if we can. And again, we can't lose. You go back. I'll give you an example. I went back and I read an article, and then that caused me to go down this rabbit hole of going back and looking at the video. And it was a joyful thing to do because it was me watching LSU bend Florida over time and again on a counter. So what I did was
not on a kitchen counter,
just a counter,
just a counter play.
Yeah.
Perhaps figuratively, but
so I went back and watched that because I wanted to see how it was possible, just the same way Notre Dame did it to us 2 years ago. How's it possible to run that same play? I think they ran it 14 times in that game against. No, I'm not kidding. They ran it 14 times against Florida for over 300 yards. That's ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
It's ridiculous. That kid set the LSU record. You know how many backs they've had to go through there and be elite?
It was the bye week. I didn't watch that game play for play. I guess I should have.
Oh, go back. I'll show it to you during the break. It's awesome. Anyhow, so they run the same play over and over again. Now, sometimes they block it up a little differently. But one of the things that stood out was Florida lost. And this is what I laughed at because Florida fans are so mad at everybody, the entirety of the coaching staff. They're mad at Grantham in particular, obviously.
That's that's a timer for 5 seconds when that guy's hired to an institution. They love him for 3 because he blitzes a lot. Then like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
Every university goes through the same cycle.
Yeah. So they're furious with him. Well, I wanted to see, did they make no adjustments? You know what happened? They lost every single one-on-one matchup. Guys are where they're supposed to be. They're just getting their ass beat. And football does that. Sometimes football holds a mirror up to you, and it's embarrassing when you're on the wrong end of the result. So what happens is you're like, well, is this coaching or are these kids just not any good? And I went back, at least on that day, those kids just aren't any good. They were right there. And every one-on-one matchup, they got rooted out, kicked out, embarrassed. Took poor angles. When they did get there, they were narrow, so they were easily manipulated. They didn't break down at all to take on. They were disinterested, is what they were. They didn't want to take on blocks. All right, why do I bring that up? Well, I worry that, and this is part of my looking ahead at the schedule beginning with this game. There are some games here where the one-on-one blocks, even when you create angles. Even in a zone blocking scheme, let's say, you have to win some one-on-one battles. And we're now playing a couple defensive lines that have kids that can, I think, win the one-on-one battles against our offensive linemen, especially if Gibbons doesn't play. And the idea of being this other thing, this run-centric thing with options off of it. I agree with you on, and Jordan's special with it, and he's getting more comfortable with it. It doesn't work if your guards get pushed into the backfield. And I think early we're going to know. I'll just put it that way. Not saying we can't do it.
Right.
I just think early we're going to know.
We feel better about Bavion right now than a lot of them because they might be banged up, period. Right? Like your next two options, if you had, your normal lineup, would be actually you'd have DLT above him if DLT was last year's version and healthy, but we're not sure. And then Gibbons, of course, didn't return to the game on Saturday. And
hold your breath, man. He's got to play.
I know. Well, that's why I feverishly during halftime went to find the drive. I'm like, where is the moment? Where is it? And then I found it, and it wasn't pretty. And I thought,
no, it ain't good, man. Against
UMass,
shoot him up.
If
do
you
whatever you got to do.
If it's possible.
Tordall.
Yeah.
All day long.
But I think that we've got enough in the bag of tricks, and I've seen enough out of this staff to know that they can scheme up some things now against pretty good defenses.
They can, and that's something that has you feeling good.
The race ain't to 30. It shouldn't be, at least.
No. I really think this has been a boost in the confidence of the fan base for this offensive staff. I'm going to say this without trying to sound condescending, and I'm not trying to. I don't think the casual fan realizes the minor miracles being worked here to get this offense working as well as it is.
Right.
Given how one-dimensional we are.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how difficult it is to scheme up that many one-on-ones and that many good looks and or opportunities out on the edges. I don't think that's hard to do when the other team knows what you're going to do because you are by definition one-dimensional.
What buoys me, though, is, again, going back to the Q's game where you're not going to scheme for Garrett Schrader's arm ever.
Right.
Ever.
No.
That's not how you draw it up.
Right.
You'll scheme up for his legs a million times before you'll scheme up for that kid's arm. And 34 Sean Tucker's the guy. He is.
Yeah.
There's nobody else. And yet that kid goes for over a bill early in the action. And it's multiple broken plays, not just one super long run.
Yeah, it gives you hope. Yeah. Now, that was a Friday night. It was a weird, who knows? I don't know. They'll be at home. This isn't on the road like it was against Syracuse. We think they'll be jacked up for this game. I know the fans will be. They always are. We'll see if Clemson takes their fans' lead and gets into this game and plays with great energy. I don't know that they will. They're in the midst of a bitterly disappointing season, and there seems to be some real distrust and frustration going on there. I hope it's the first sign that this thing is breaking down.
And we've been bad enough as a program to not by ourselves be taken seriously with that helmet, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Real Talk 93.3 wants you to win $1,000. Why? Because money talks.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Your next chance to win is coming up during the Jeff Cameron Show at 2 p.m. Listen out for the keyword, then click on the Real Talk Money megaphone at realtalk93.com. Money talks. Everything else can take a walk.
Money, I just can't get enough.
I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
I call Tallahassee Car Care and they're fixing my car when I want to.
Hey, what are you doing? This is a Swain Pools and Spas commercial.
I'm turning it into a Tallahassee Car Care commercial.
But Swain Pools and Spas is a full-service shop offering sales, renovation, supplies, and more for years.
And Tallahassee Car Care is a full-service shop offering brake and tire service, batteries, oil changes, and more for years.
But people go to Swain Pools for quality and reliability. Nobody knows more about pools and spas, and Swain has new Caldera spas in stock right now.
And people go to Tallahassee Car Care for their 5-star service at great prices, with most maintenance done by their certified technicians while you wait.
You know what? Just look for the big Swain sign on West Tharp Street, because Swain Pools and Tallahassee Car Care are under the same roof. Online at SwainPools.com.
Online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Swain Pools and Spas.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows
know that.
Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature Which, the The Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty. Some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure. With oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at woodenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state government, including public health and emergency response agencies, our friends at ISF recognize September as National Preparedness Month and want to help you be safe this hurricane season. Visit ISF.com to learn more and download your emergency preparedness plan today. ISF, solving the future. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
It was what? Gorky's Hernandez, sorry ass, and Jeff Locke to the Pittsburgh Pirates in exchange for Nate McLeod.
Is that his full name? Gorky's Hernandez, sorry ass?
Yeah. And so we harken back a long time ago. Charlie Morton began 2010 in spring training as a member of the esteemed, proud, legendary franchise known as the Pittsburgh Pirates, seeking to win a starting job in the rotation. In spring that year, a spring game I attended, Charlie Morton, for lack of a better term, got lit up like a Christmas tree.
Okay,
I'll just put it that way, okay?
Right.
For those that were watching, I did the motion. So
yeah,
you
Keith
guys,
Hernandez would say it differently.
So that's what happened. In fact, that month in spring, he had an ERA of 12.57 in Pittsburgh. And I thought, well, this is going to work out well. Turns out he became a very good pitcher, and over time became a guy that you could trust. Now, his career in Pittsburgh did not start out that way. It started out terribly. He was 1-9 at one point and an ERA in the neighborhood of 10. I say that to say this: it's a credible career. Because as he got better and moved towards being one of the frontline starters for the Pirates, he was never considered to be an ace. He was never considered to be elite. He has a cup of coffee with the Phillies, and then he goes to Houston, where we go, ooh, Charlie Morton has found, and I'm not alleging anything, but Charlie Morton found 5 more miles per hour on his fastball, and it changed the world. Now, I like Charlie Morton, so I hope that was the byproduct of a lot of hard work. Could very well have been.
Yeah, efficiency in the motion.
That's right.
Yeah,
he just figured something out. The Astros do tend to solve people. They do help them.
Yes, they do.
They do help them, don't they?
They solve people by any means necessary.
They solve people. That's what I'd say about that organization. And so he goes to Houston, and they solve whatever problems there are.
Here's how they solve people.
Yeah, but they solve pitchers too. I'm saying they solve their own pitchers. Garrett Cole was good in Pittsburgh. Tom. He was otherworldly in Houston.
Yeah.
So people go to Houston.
Oh, he came back down to earth in the Bronx, didn't he?
He did, but he actually
goodness.
ended up having a good year. He figured out the sticky stuff thing, but
sort of.
Go look at those numbers. They're good. He worked it out. He had a little 3-game stretch there where he too got lit up like a Christmas tree, but then kind of figured it out. Now, then obviously Charlie went to Tampa Bay. He was great there too. Good for him. And he is currently with the Atlanta Braves, where last night I saw something that warrants you and I saying, bravo, man, because I've watched that moment where the comebacker hits him. It's 3-0 Braves. And you see he's hurt. He's in pain. Now, like Travis DiNarno, I don't think he knew his leg was broken, but he knows certainly that it was hurting. And he's, okay, well, I'm going to have to get through this because we got to get somebody up. We got to find a way to get somebody ready to go. So, at that point, you're trying to get AJ up to get ready to go. He knows he's got to try to finish out. That curveball he throws to Altuve is filthy. And on the follow-through, it looks like it snaps. I mean, it looks like whatever damage had been done initially, which would have been enough in a regular season game to say, I'm out. Let's go get this checked. At maybe best case scenario, it's a hairline fracture. We just got to stabilize it and be done with it. But he decides, I'm going to pitch because I'm a badass. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let my guy get ready. And I'm going to strike Jose Altuve out, which is not easy to do, and get you some of this yacker. And does. And then the leg, it looks like to me goes, okay, we're done here. I tried to warn you with all that pain. The grimacing you were doing, there was a reason. Dude, that is, relative to sports, the stuff of legend. Charlie Morton last night, who is already liked and has the reputation of being a huge big game pitcher for all the right reasons, wanting the ball in big moments in game sevens and going and winning and shoving time and again. And now you add that to the ledger. We're going to remember Charlie Morton in a way I thought not possible in the spring of 2009-2010 season. There was no way Charlie Morton was going to now be a guy that, fast forward 11 years, we're talking about as an all-time great postseason pitcher who owns a moment of on the table. On the table.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't start showing up to shopping malls and grabbing a microphone and just spewing hateful and divisive stuff, he'll be fine.
Yes.
His legacy will be forever etched next to some of the greats and some of the performances across sport.
Which is cool. Which is really
how
cool.
How tough is this guy to be able to do this? Tiger Woods winning the U.S. Open with it. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's flu game, I guess.
E.J. Manuel beating Notre Dame.
In Florida State lore, that's pretty good.
It's all right.
It was a fractured shin bone. Yeah. That second half was lights out.
It was. But this is truly the good stuff.
Man, he gets credit for some things. I mean, we criticize him all the time. He gets credit for that one.
I guess. I have my suspicions. I'm just going to tell you right now.
You don't think it was broken? Interesting. Okay.
We're not doing this.
All right.
It was shattered. It's a miracle.
We replaced the guy with a tinfoil hat. We got another one.
No. What I would say is this last night we know was broken, and my man still threw that yacker and still made those pitches and still hung in there to get those out. 16 pitches from the time his leg was probably broken. That is unbelievable. And I just wanted to note that careers, and this is why I get so fed up with trying to decide and evaluate where somebody sits in the all-time pantheon of it, whatever it is, quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, linebackers, when they're in the middle of their career. You cannot know. You can't. Now, you can have suspicions, and there can be evidence and data points that you point to say, well, he's certainly not on a Hall of Fame career path. That's fair. But don't get into the daily debates if somebody's an all-time whatever when they've got 10 more years to play, potentially. Because Charlie Morton is proof positive that you can be a middling two-starter at best to bona fide, badass postseason hero, ace dominant in the span of 10 years after showing no signs of that. So that's what you were witnessing last night.
Well, they needed that win, though. That was the other thing is like, you're looking up at the graphic and there's 6 innings to go. Even though you have a good-sized lead, you're like, well, you're a Braves fan. You've got to have this one. You can't let them come back and put a couple in the Cracker Jack box in left field. Next thing you know, Because if you go down 0-1 and Morton's not available, which of course he isn't, but he's not available for the rest of the series.
Oh yeah.
Yikes. So good job. Yeah. You got the one. You got the one. You got to find a way to get 3 more. And our pal James is correct. He put in the chat.
No, I'm not arguing that baseball players or this particular baseball player is tougher than any hockey player in the postseason. We get the legend that are NHL stars.
But he became a hockey player last night.
He did.
That's what he did.
Yeah. No, it's amazing what hockey players do. But it ain't easy, no matter who's doing it. It is unreal. I would also argue that there are differences. Like you can have now, I can't imagine anybody playing any sport on a broken leg. So that's nothing but kudos. I mean, I've had foot problems. I've had surgery there. I've broken bones in my feet. It's agonizing. But I would say pitching where you drive and land.
Yeah, he's got to drive off of that foot.
Man, no. That's crazy. That is crazy. You're not just kind of, all right, we're going to immobilize it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to just kind of go through the motions on one,
Maybe he should put on a hockey skate and continue.
Yeah.
Because that way he can push off and his ankle is somewhat stabilized.
I loved it. It was incredible. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A fire devastated Unity of Tallahassee early Tuesday morning. The Tallahassee Fire Department was dispatched to the church located in the 2800 block of Unity Drive at 6:52 a.m. The department took a defensive posture due to the large volume of the fire in the structure. No injuries were reported, but the structure was a total loss. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation. The Leon County Sheriff's Office is investigating a homicide in the 1900 block of West Tennessee Street. Deputies were in that area when they heard gunshots in the distance around 2 a.m. Tuesday. The deputies immediately searched the area and found a man who was suffering from major injuries. They later pronounced him dead at the scene. LCSO says this is an active and open investigation. If you have any information for deputies, reach out to the LCSO Violent Crimes Unit at 850-606-3300. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a high of 79. Southerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Slight chance for scattered showers tonight, lows around 63. Overcast tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms likely, high of 80. Upper 60s Friday and Saturday with a chance for scattered showers Friday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 73.
Let me tell you what T-Spark stands for. It stands for strength, commitment, teamwork, and heart. We don't ever quit until we've got nothing left to give. Our team is unstoppable. Want a guaranteed win? Call T-Spark Enterprises for your next roofing or construction project. We conquer all peaks. T-SparkConstruction.com. License number CCC 1331204.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Top 10 worst candies of all time. Go ahead. All right. The first one that I had were those weird lollipops that have the circle down on the bottom rather than a stick. Not on the list. All right. Whorehound candy. Don't know what. Can you even say that on the radio? It is a thing. Not on the list. Move on. No? Not on the list. Apples with razor blades in them. Give me that ding. You know it's on there. Yep.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Wednesday, getting antsy, getting excited. Anticipatory shows are fun to do when you're thinking about the game and the magnitude of the game. And the fact that that's even a thing right now after an 0-4 start is once again a reminder that you hang in there, keep fighting. It's exciting.
It's been a while since we've done one of these like kinds of weeks that are not for the opening game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's late October. October's been a good month to us.
Any year in which, if I were to tell you before the season began, you're going to lose your first 4 games, including an upset that is legendary and will be remembered in the annals of Florida State football history as one of the low points ever.
Thankfully, West Durham's call was a confused one, or else you'd see it more often.
Yeah, wasn't good. So here's the thing. If I told you after all that we would be feeling this way about this game, it's just no way. I mean, you hang in there, you keep fighting. It's easier said than done, especially for the kids who are on the other end of that historic collapse. I mean, they did, and they get credit for that. And this coaching staff gets credit for that. It really is remarkable that happened. And especially when you consider that on the tail end of that, you're giving up a gazillion points and a half to a Louisville team that, let's face it, is not a great team. And you couldn't look more confused. You look like a bunch of clowns. We're in that moment going to halftime saying, that's it, that's all for this defensive coordinator. Screw him and the horse he rode in on. We got to change. That's where we were at mentally. And then from that point to this point, we now think competent defense, playing hard, will hit you, play with physicality, play together, support one another. They're hiding. They're doing a good job of kind of hiding their weaknesses, which we all know about, in particular at linebacker. That is a good job, period. Well done, coaching staff. Now, there are a lot of games still to be played. Might we turn the corner and say, after these next 2 games, unfortunately, wasn't sustainable. I mean, if Clemson comes out and drops 38 after having not been able to reach 21 points in regulation all season long, you're going to be a little bit downtrodden, a little disheartened.
Yeah, most in the 30s, absolutely. The thing is, against Pitt, they probably should have scored 28 to 30 points, but it's amazing how they shoot themselves in the foot on wide open looks.
I'm just saying,
wide open.
You know as well as I do, Tom, that and admittedly, I would absolutely acquiesce to this. Even though we both looked at that same film and we both see that the plays are there, I can't imagine being a Clemson coordinator. Tony Elliott's got to be like, what are you doing? But that said, nope, in no game have they figured that out. If it's just this one, at some point, that's on you. Don't let them find themselves this weekend. So the question was by Ryan earlier in the show, do you think this is a one-off for Clemson, or is this the tipping point for them? Okay. We have, as Florida State fans and those of us who cover the team, follow the team, we've watched what Clemson is going through before. We've witnessed being the highest of highs, an undefeated season, national championship, the creme de la creme of college football. You are the team that everybody's trying to beat. You are the program, certainly in this sorry-ass conference, you are the program that everybody's chasing, etc. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. And it's gone. Our famous clip, right? It's just like that. And when it happens, nationally, people go, what in the hell? And all of a sudden, you're a guest on a lot of shows, and people go, what is going on down there? How did you guys go from being the best team in college football with players for days? You're just a feeder school for the NFL. And all of a sudden, you guys can't play a lick. And you're losing to teams that, person for person on paper, you should be clobbering. And even when you get wins, you don't look good doing it. Well, okay. We've witnessed it. We've seen it. And usually there are telltale signs for those on the ground covering the team. I'm going to speak to a couple of those people this week, and I will get back to you on this because I am curious for those that can be objective, that are covering that team. Are they beginning to see the cracks in the armor that we've talked about, where it's not just that you're not getting the most out of your players. That is a byproduct of other issues typically. And most of those issues tend to be internal, that the national press can't see, but those on the ground covering on a daily basis can. Whether that's infighting between coaches, whether that is a player not buying in and then alienating other players within that segment group. There are a lot of things that can happen. And how a coach handles those situations usually is very telling. It tells you whether this is a one-off, whether this is just a tough year because they've had an inordinate number of injuries in key places that they couldn't afford to have, or is this the sign of further problems? I don't know the answer to that. I do know that our offensive staff has found a way to coordinate an offense as one-dimensional as we are that can be this successful as a top 15 rushing offense in the country, despite having glaring weaknesses everywhere, including that at wide receiver and offensive line. And yet Clemson, who has elite players at most spots, cannot seem to overcome the two guys on the interior that either got hurt or suck. That is amazing to me. So there is something else wrong is all I'm suggesting.
Yeah, it's what happens when you don't have God at quarterback. And they've had two generational quarterbacks in the last 10 years play 3 years apiece outside of the Cole Stout mini era at Clemson. But, you know, the one thing I'll say where those athletes are not going away. I think when we started to slide, and you saw the drop-off even from 2013 to 2014 of that wide receiver core. It kept going down and down and down. And we had Dalvin, and we got Cam Akers. And so there have been some players here or there. You can name them, but you can count them on one hand. I look at some of the young players that Clemson has, like Will Shipley, who's impressive. Obviously, Bo Collins, the kid they got out of California, who is rangy and is going to be a good player. Joseph Ngata, who went for over 100 yards against Georgia. He only had one catch against Syracuse, but it was an important catch. It was one of their touchdowns. They don't have very many on the season. No. So anytime they score a touchdown, that's a big play. He's got body control and explosive ability. He was gone for the Pitt game, but he should be back. He was in the COVID protocol. They're littered with skill position talent for the next 2 or 3 seasons.
Sure they are.
That is on the level of elite. I don't think we were. We had Dalvin, and we had a bunch of dudes that were, all right, yeah, I mean, maybe 4 stars, but nobody that was generational at the position. I think there's still going to be a factory of the skill positions. The question is, in the transfer portal or wherever, are they going to get those, or through maybe injuries and returning back to full health, are they going to get their trenches shored up?
Well, they're going to have to do something they don't want to do. In order to get the trenches shorn up, they're going to have to take a transfer portal kid. And they refuse to do it because they're high and mighty Clemson.
Oh, I don't know if they're high and mighty anymore. This would drive me to the portal this kind of season.
Well, Dabo will tell you that it's different there, buddy. Their culture's different. They don't want outsiders.
Does he really say that they don't go to the portal?
Yes. Oh, his whole thing is about we're different. We don't. Yeah, and listen, look at their recruiting practices. You're not allowed to take other visits. You can't do all this other stuff. Once you get the hell out of here with this, you high and mighty nonsense. That's who that clown is.
If that is what he holds to this offseason, then all right, we're open for business here, even though they've got breakaway athletes, and they do, and that's not stopping. I think that's the clear difference on offense between us on the downfall and then them right now.
But let's say in the next 2 years, it slows to a trickle, that they're not getting 9 of those guys every recruiting class.
Right,
Maybe they get 1 until everybody else wakes up and goes, it's over. The dream is over. These hillbillies are done. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers dealerships. We've experienced a couple of blockbuster months recently. What does that mean to you? It means we have a whole lot of quality pre-owned vehicles. And just when there are rumors about high prices on pre-owned cars, you guessed it. At Kraft Nissan and Infinity, we are discounting every single pre-owned car, truck, and SUV on our lot. Instead of Dad dreaming of a new truck or SUV, why not bring him out to the Kraft Brothers lot on Mahan Drive to look at SUVs and trucks? Match what he wants. Kraft Pre-Owned has dozens of Toyotas, some Ford F-150s, and Ram 1500s. And of course, we have a big supply of Infiniti and Nissan vehicles. If we don't have what you're looking for, we will do our level best to find the car you want. Let other dealers charge you too much for pre-owned cars. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti are saying right now is the best time of the year to save on a quality pre-owned vehicle. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti of Tallahassee on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if the car you are looking for doesn't have the Kraft tag on it, you'll pay too much, way too much.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other.
Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money. But then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
On a Balls Big Wednesday about the upcoming Florida State-Clemson game and all of the various directions this thing could go. It's on the one hand, so I don't even know that you can rule out. We love to talk about what's possible and what the race is to and what's more likely than not and put percentages on things. Most games, Tom, we got a pretty good sense that, all right, what's more likely? Florida State, wins this game by 3, or Clemson blows Florida State out. And then we just posit something like that, and then we get into percentages. But this one, you could open up a number of things. You could say, because I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Like a lot of times I'll just say definitively, no, that's definitely not going to happen. Hear me out on this. I'm not predicting this. I'm merely saying it's not entirely impossible that Florida State blows Clemson out. If Clemson has decided to shut it down, and if that relationship between quarterback and coaching staff and players in quarterback is fractured to a place that they've seen enough, then you get a team who goes through the motions, and the teams that go through the emotions playing up against a fired up team with something to prove, desperate to get a win. Yeah, it could happen. I mean, it does happen.
Define that margin of victory that you would qualify as
21.
Okay. All right.
So, you could go win a game 24-3.
Boy, I'd like that.
Me too. I'm not saying
very satisfying.
I mean, if I'm putting percentages on that, it's very low. I'm just saying that's not out of the realm of possibility if Clemson's mindset is to a place where they're just the season's such a wash that they're just like, well, and I don't know that that's the case. It's kind of cool to throw that out there.
Oh, sure. What gets fun is I've seen the offense put Clemson, different offenses throughout the season, put Clemson in a position where they're looking around and somebody breaks open, but they're not good enough to take advantage of it. Are we?
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Real Talk 93.3 wants you to win $1,000.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
It's time to win some cash. And here's this hour's keyword.
Payday. P-A-Y-D-A-Y. Payday.
Click on the Real Talk Money Megaphone at realtalk93.com to enter the keyword for your chance to win $1,000 in this nationwide contest. Money talks. Everything else can take a walk.
Money, I just can't get enough.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. New England has taken a battering from a powerful nor'easter.
Heavy rain and eye-poppingly high winds battered parts of the Northeast. The National Weather Service's David Roth with who got the worst of it.
Southeast New York and also across Long Island and coastal southwest Connecticut, where there was 3 to 5 inches of rain.
The highest wind gust, 94 miles per hour on Martha's Vineyard. The storm knocked out power to hundreds of thousands of people in Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. The body of a man who went kayaking just before the heavy rain fell was found in the water near the Bronx. I'm Rita Foley.
Also at townhall.com, talk show host Sean Spicer tells the Salem Radio Network the Republican ticket in Virginia, led by gubernatorial candidate Glenn Youngkin, has a strong chance of sweeping the election next week.
I think Youngkin's going to go over the finish line. I think that we're going to take back the House of Delegates in Virginia by a couple seats. And I really think that the under ticket, Winsome Sears for Lieutenant Governor and Jason Vieira for Lieutenant Governor, are both going to come over the line, too. One issue Republicans are seizing upon is Democrat Terry McAuliffe's oft-stated position that parents should have no say in their children's education at public schools. The U.S. government has asked Britain's High Court to overturn a judge's decision that WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange should not be sent to the United States to face espionage charges. A lower court judge had refused extradition back in January, ruling that Assange was likely to kill himself if held under harsh U.S. prison conditions. But a lawyer for the U.S. said American authorities have given assurances now that Assange would be able to serve any U.S. sentence he received in his native Australia. The Dow is down 63 points, but the NASDAQ ahead 118. More at townhall.com.
Your pets have the same energy they used to? Do they have problems with itching, scratching, a dull coat, or goopy ears? Then your pets need Dinovite.
DINOVITE.com.
For over 20 years, pet owners have trusted Dinovite to supplement their pet's diet.
We started Dinovite, and in our first stock, we noticed a difference.
Dinovite is an all-natural daily supplement made from whole foods that help support your pet's immune system, digestion, skin, and coat.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
Today's commercial pet foods are processed at high temperatures, which bakes out all the essential goodness. These processed foods can lack the essential vitamins, enzymes, and probiotics that contribute to overall good health. Adding a scoop of Dinovite to your pet's food bowl is the answer.
If you love your pets as much as I do, you'll want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives. I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. All 4 of them are on the Dinovite.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com. Florida license CAC 1816-186.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
and the subscribing. Pound the likes. It's silly with the likes. Everybody simultaneously. 1, 2, 3, like.
It's a fun-looking thumbs up. You
Yeah.
just want to click it. That's all you need to do.
Click-a-doo.
It's a little tap of the mouse button. A tap of the mouse.
Warchant.com for the stories leading up to this game, including Third and Lang will be coming out real soon. I'm told right after the show.
Oh, well, not right after. No, there's I'll be in the conference room here at
You'll
these
be
fine
typing.
studios,
You'll be typing.
finishing the rest of it. Yeah.
I won't be. I'll be leaving here. I'll be leaving here the second the show's over, and prepping myself for tonight's Beyond the Tips on Sirius XM. If you're a golf guy or gal, that's a show I co-host with the head coach at Florida State University, Trey Jones. And tonight, I'm excited. We got a couple of different guests. Georgia Tech's head coach and Rick Neuheisel going to join us tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Coach Neuheisel.
Coach Neuheisel and I go back a ways from when I did stuff on the college ESPNU station, but Neuheisel is a scratch golfer.
Of course he is.
Oh, of course he is. And not just a little bit. He's a scratch golfer.
Sarcastic enough and dry enough that I could hear him razzing somebody on a course. It totally fits.
Can flat out swing it. I mean, really play. Like you would mistake him for being a professional.
Right.
He's good.
And then he plays you acoustic guitar as you drive to your ball.
And you're just like, son of a, yeah. But I also have always appreciated about Neuheisel, his candor. When Urban Meyer was screwing up at Ohio State, I was hosting a show on a Saturday night. Not exactly a great gig at the time, but it is a national show. So I did. I got called in that week, and they needed me to do that, and I did it. And the story was breaking out of Columbus that he was in trouble. I mean, and there were real problems there, and they were going to call for a press conference for Monday and all this. Well, the producer said, "Who do you want? You know, I'll put out feelers, but it's going to be tough on a Saturday, you know, to get anybody to come in because people are either working or having a good time. So it's hard to get people to say yes." Neuheisel was on vacation in the Pacific Northwest. And I said, call.
Of course he was.
Yes,
Nowhere else.
Yeah. I said, call Neuheisel and see if he'll come on. They're like, well, he's on vacation. I said, just tell him it's me. And he did it. Not that I'm somebody, but he did it because we had worked together before. And I'd worked with him several times. So anyhow, he came on while he was driving through the mountains at night just to tell me what we all knew, which I appreciated, that Urban Meyer's has come back. And he said that. And that's not
verbatim?
Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he said, look, I mean, are you surprised? I mean, this guy's revealed himself many times. I was like, there,
all right, there you go.
Yeah.
So how does Trey feel about the squad this week or this season, I should say? Because, you know, I saw the East Lake Cup on Golf Channel. I'm like, what gives? Why aren't we there? We're good enough.
No, he likes his team. I think obviously you got to have some of the younger guys who played so well last year, but they were able to defer to two frontline guys at the top of that food chain there that were all world and had proven it in the biggest matches time and again. So it's kind of easy when you're a freshman to sit back knowing, well, you know, Johnny Pack's got me here. You know, I can ease up here. And so at that point, he knew they had talent because they posted nice numbers, but now they're going to be required to lead. Now they've got to be the guys. They got to be the men, you know. So I think it'll be midway, you know, before you start really realizing what they are, how he feels about who they are. I'll say this, and I'll move on from golf because everybody's excited about this football game. But Trey has a very sort of rigorous proving ground that he puts them through. He believes in creating tournament atmospheres and seeing how guys perform each week. And he'll take them over to, you know, Sea Island or all these places, and he'll set up 36 holes and be like, it's match play. You versus him. Whoever wins is playing this week. The other one's not. So he puts you through it. And you know, when you got to earn it, it expedites the process.
That's kind of like what we did when we went over to Jacksonville and we were on a practice field in fall camp, and it was a sloped field, and they were running their sleds into the side of a hill. They couldn't even move them. There was mud everywhere. That's right. We were forging the identity so we could go on the road at Death Valley this weekend and tell them where to stick that rock.
Oh, goodness.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So back to this.
Trey Jones' methods got me fired up. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
It's the Socratic method, right? That's what we're going to do. So I would just tell you that I believe we're going to come out believing that we can win the game. And that doesn't sound like much, but it is an awful lot. You still have to go win your battles, win some one-on-ones, make plays against teams that have, in the case of several teams that remain on the schedule, better players. But I would not have thought that a while back, that we would be in this game believing as we step foot on that field against this team that we would do so believing we're going to win the game. And I know athletes lie to themselves all the time. They have to, even when there's overwhelming evidence to the contrary, right? That this is not a good matchup for us. And I'm not talking specifically about Clemson. I'm saying athletes in general have to do that. They have to gear themselves up in a way that gives them a chance to have some confidence and believe, even when they know, well, golly, this team hasn't lost at home in 31 games. But I think they do believe it. I think that's something the 3-game win streak has provided them. And so it's not for nothing that you got those wins. It's important. It gives you this chance, this opportunity, and this belief. Now, it may be beaten out of you, but it's nice to go into a game believing, and it's not false bravado. They do believe. I believe that secondary is playing with confidence. I believe that front four, which has been very good all season long, is ready to eat because they're watching that same video. They're seeing the same film. Time and again, they look at that and they see that interior getting blown the hell up. DJ has become a quarterback that sees ghosts. He's a guy that got pressured so often, so early in the season, probably much to his surprise. Now, I'm sure coming out of that Georgia game, they were just like, well, obviously, game recognizes game. So they looked at that film and went, yeah, those dudes are for real. They got some grown-ass men up front. That's going to be the best defensive line we see all year long. Everything's going to be all right. And then it wasn't. That had to be arresting. That had to be shocking to him. Like, oh, we're going to be okay. That's just Georgia. They're going to do that to everybody. And then all of a sudden, no. Yeah, they are just Georgia, but you aren't Clemson. You're not the Clemson you've been. Everybody's doing that to you every week.
Yeah, we only scored 11 more against Georgia Tech than we did against Georgia.
Yeah, it had to have been startling. And then it just continued to pile up. So at some point, you have to believe the data points. You have to believe the evidence that's before you. You have to know, like, okay, well, really, we just aren't good. And Dabo has said as much. When he says, pay close attention, when he says, well, the offense is what it is, that's a defeatist comment. That is somebody who's telling you he does not believe it is going to get better. The offense is just what it is. Coaches who believe that the offense is going to get better and is on the cusp of doing good things because they see it in the film and they're frustrated because it's a play here or a play there. They love to run out those old-timey tropes. They'll do it all. Oh, it's just this. It's just that. We're one block away. We're one, He's not doing that anymore. He's not saying that anymore. He did say it for a while. He's not saying it anymore. He's saying things like, the offense is what it is. Man.
Inconsistent quarterback play. He'll bring up the term quarterback play a lot this week. Notice that.
Yeah. Now imagine you're that quarterback. You're that quarterback that he's talking about, and he rolls your ass every day. Terrible.
He liked how he responded, though, when they needed a touchdown in the 4-minute. Could that be the launching point? That's what they're talking about, the optimists on Clemson Sports Radio this week.
I guess. I know their fans are angry. Tony Elliott bears the brunt of it, but they're very angry. I was having to do research because I got to do an interview for that game. And I went on the various sites that cover Clemson to try to read from those reporters who covered each one of their games, kind of the take. And of course, when you do that, then you see the responses to those said articles. those fans are like, hey, look here, man. They're starting to call out guys that you would never think they'd call out. It's amazing. They'll go back and look. It's a little bit like what Florida's doing currently because they're done with Dan Mullen. A lot of the fans are like, look, man, we're 2-6 in our last 8 games against Power 5 teams. And oh, by the way, he plays the wrong quarterback every week. And so it's pretty funny because I knew it was coming and I was just waiting for it. When I was reading these articles about the Florida-Georgia game that I've got to preview, and I was reading the Florida fans, they're like, yeah, by the way, what was the quarterback that went to Arkansas for Florida?
Felipe Franks.
Felipe Franks. I saw this and I cracked up laughing. They're like, if Felipe Franks hadn't gotten hurt, would we have ever seen Kyle Trask? Would have he had known to put him in?
There you go.
I'm like,
that sounds like a Mario Pender, Dalvin Cook conversation near you.
Yeah, and I cracked up. I'm like, here it is. Here it comes. There they go. It's happening. They're like, well, it took him an awful long time to put in Dak Prescott when he was at Mississippi State. He kept rolling out that bum, Robertson. Like, maybe he doesn't know what he's looking at.
They're bringing the receipts. Somebody else choose personnel. Let him drop the game plan. He's a coordinator. He's not a coach.
No, it made me laugh because this week, that's true. They said that. They brought up a game from 2013, and they're like, when he was at Mississippi State, he kept rolling out that bum. He had Dak the whole time. He wouldn't play him. And then finally, he had to acquiesce, and the evidence was overwhelming, but he lost a bunch of games in the meantime. Like, would we have ever seen Kyle Trask if Felipe Franks hadn't gotten hurt? I'm like, yes.
Well, the good news for us as it relates to Clemson is Pumachan looks, whatever.
Well, I don't know how he could. I mean, maybe he comes in and plays great and he becomes a hero, but I mean, the man ruptured his Achilles.
Yeah, he did.
Not all that long ago. It's really quite amazing.
So I looked him up yesterday just to really lock down the pronunciation of his name, right? Because, you look at it and you're like, whew.
Clemson's got way too many guys.
Oh,
you're like, what are we doing here?
All of the consonants, all of the vowels,
everything.
They've got them all.
Goodness gracious.
And you really got to lock it in.
Imagine that moment you get tabbed as the color analyst. You got Clemson this week. Damn it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
Just spell it phonetically for me on my notepad to your spotter.
In big giant letters.
Yeah. Pumachon.
Yeah.
Pumachan. Yeah. There it is.
Pumachan. That's actually easy to say. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So in looking that up, I mean, I'm not doing a scout on Clemson in the preseason. They're going to blow us out. That's the thought, right? You don't spend a lot of time on Clemson's offseason and worry about them. And I looked up his name, and there it was. He ruptured his Achilles. I'm like, oh, man, that's crazy. Back in 2020, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? This kid's back on the field. That's insane.
Well, and I can remember when it happened because the thought was it'll be no big deal because they believe in DJ. He had given them that performance against Notre Dame on the road, and he looked so good doing it, right? And everybody went, oh, man, that kid can really play because he lit him up. He went nuts in a high-pressure moment. And so they thought, oh, well, that's a glimpse of their future, and everybody rolled their eyes who's tired of seeing Clemson. Again? Got those guys again? Good God, another one of these guys? But when that happened and the injury was noted, I did read an article at the time that said, well, this could be a problem. I mean, we are all assuming DJ is going to be good, but what if he's not? Well, the what if he's not question has happened, and they did not think that was going to happen, and now there they are going, this ain't good. The other guy didn't have a spring because he had a ruptured Achilles and hasn't really been able to practice much up until recently, so oops. This is not good.
Yeah, what's interesting is that problem is so deep-rooted that Pumachan got in against Hughes a few weeks back, and it was a change of pace play. It was a package play, but then they expand him to a drive. DJ responds, but you got to wonder what the rep count is like this week in practice. I would think that, we like to say these things, that you spend more time worrying about two quarterbacks. Well, I would think we'd have to at least rep against Pumachan a little bit this week in scout, right?
I guess.
Either way, you're going to let the quarterback run. This is the Sam Howell game plan.
I
keep everything in front of you.
Absolutely letting the quarterback run. I'm saying, look, I'm going to take away this other stuff if I can. I'm going to keep it in front of me. I'm going to tackle. Easier said than done if he actually gets it to him. But I'm going to do that because I'm going to trust that he can't do that on 10 and 12 play drives, that he's not going to convert 6 and 7 first downs in a drive just running around. At some point, they're going to get into a situation where they commit a penalty or a drop ball or something, and they're well behind the chains, and it's just too much to overcome. Perhaps. Now, listen, they've been begging him to run. Teams have said, we're going to take this other stuff away. And that's part of their frustration with DJ.
Right.
He won't do it.
Well, it's twofold. He won't do it for one in some circumstances. He will. He picks weird spots.
He picks weird spots. He had a long run in the pick game, and I thought, oh, here he goes. They finally got to him. Well, he didn't do it the rest of the day.
Right, exactly.
I don't even know how that's possible. I mean, you're the coach. When he comes off the field after not having run where he could have easily had a first down, it's okay to say, and this is where the fight would get real. Hey, man, run your bitch ass for a first down. How many times do I have to tell you this? What are you doing? And he won't do it. It's insane.
The other part is when they call design runs, it gets blown up the middle anyway. So you can't even call design power play for him.
But you can roll him out and give
him
the option. It just shocks me that I don't know, man. At some point when you're broken and there's a lot of other stuff going on that we don't know about. Look, we saw it here. EJ stopped running. He got hurt in the Oklahoma game.
AC joint,
and then never again. He's like, that's it, I ain't running. Or I'm just going to spin around and do a whippity-do in the backfield like an idiot. And so that went on and on and on, and we would watch it and we're like, oh, he's broken. Something is wrong. He's broken.
The amount of animosity for that 2012 season.
Oh, it was but it was ridiculous.
It was a combo effort, but that was mostly Jimbo. That wasn't EJ.
No, it was yes. He was a little out of line himself. You're right. He broke him. and we know the incident. We're not going to talk about that. But he broke him, and but there EJ deserves.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
There was the spinny whippity do against NC State.
Oh, over and over again.
Yeah.
He did it against everybody. He did it against Florida, and he got killed for doing
in
it.
a big spot. You're rolling him out. Worst case incompletion. You kick the field goal. You win the ball game. Instead, we take the sack and we punt, even though it's a 50 some odd, which is also on Jimbo. This is ridiculous.
Oh, we don't need to do that.
But all I'm saying is he was all right too. He wasn't all bad. It wasn't what DJ's doing. He had more bright, shiny moments than DJ had.
He did. Yeah.
DJ has Notre Dame. That's it right now. Now, we don't need to be the second thing that people say, well, he had Notre Dame and that game against Florida State. Oh, remember that? Yeah, he was terrible, except that one day against Florida State.
Right.
Let's not have that happen.
Let's not do that, yeah.
But the one thing I'm looking at on the defensive line is Sir Jermaine Johnson had 5.5 sacks the first 4 games of the season. He's had one
they're
in
doubling
the
him
last
now.
3.
Yeah, well, they double him.
Well, really good players find a way around those things, and here's your chance.
He's still making plays. I mean, and he made it, you'll still, it's not like you don't know he's out there. He still stops the run well. He still creates havoc. He's just not always getting there.
This has to be a game where, again,
think about his hit against Howell against North Carolina.
He had a sack. That's his one sack in the last 3 weeks.
Well, but not just that. It was a motor sack.
Yeah.
He gets to the outside, realizes it, spins back, and hammers him.
I'm not questioning his motor. All I'm saying is he's won a lot of awards, half-season ACC Defensive Player of the Year, mid-season All-American team. All right, well, if you are truly that.
Go get 2 on Saturday.
Go get fat on Saturday. Absolutely. And he should, because they have to commit extra attention to the interior to worry about our D tackles. So this should be a bona fide opportunity to make a play. He's also big enough to tackle DJ. Not everybody is, but Jermaine Johnson certainly is.
Oh, he certainly is. Hey, Garrett Thomas could have himself a big day too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Back to the state of South Carolina for him.
And he's a good football player. We hit on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Those
2 guys lead.
Yeah.
They do.
They do. They lead. They work hard. I love watching them on the sideline, man. I got that gift this past Saturday, man. It changed. I already liked them, but to see the way that their leadership is an active leadership. It is series to series.
It's nothing about motor or will or any of that stuff. It's just, all right, now, if you're going to be all ACC and you're going to be in consideration for a lot of these accolades, including a top 50 draft pick, which a lot of, 2-3 weeks ago, some of the mock draft people had Jermaine somewhere between 25 and 40. All right, you need to have that second push, and it can really start with the spotlight on you this weekend. This is a real opportunity to do that.
Yeah, the game is filled with opportunities for a lot of guys, and I'm excited about that. If you dial up shot plays, it's an opportunity for Jordan Travis to hit somebody on the numbers in stride like he did against North Carolina. It can be done. He has done it. He hit the wheel route, the Douglas play, right, to Notre Dame.
Yep.
So, yeah, it can happen. But, I'm curious. This game is so many questions to be answered. So many questions for them, for us. I mean, it would almost be fun for a day for us to be doing this in Clemson, South Carolina, to see where their head's at, right? Just to do this, just as it is for us, because it's 2 different mindsets right now, but a lot of questions.
Well, if you're checking, we talked about this in the report that'll appear on warchant.com and right here on the Warchant YouTube page if you're watching there later in the week. But if you're checking the boxes for dysfunction and situations where there's clutter, as Jimbo used to say, a lot of noise in the machine, Clemson checks every one of the boxes. You've got a quarterback issue. You've got mental mistakes left and right.
Mm-hmm.
You're shooting yourselves in the foot in certain situations like red zone. There's a lack of consistency. You've got the coach making negative comments about your players openly to the media, ripping on them. You've got all kinds of issues going on, man. You got trench issues, plain and simple, injuries, all of these things. Check, 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 check. And then you look at Florida State's situation. You've got a team that's rested, on a bye, then UMass. Unfortunately, Dylan Gibbons got rolled up on in the first quarter against UMass. Hopefully he's ready to go this weekend. But you've got a team that's unified. They're playing together. They're playing for one another. They're keeping their head down. They play physical. All of the intangible indicators say that we're going to give them more than a game, where we're going to play very, very well. But Clemson does have the talent advantage.
Taking Florida State plus 9.5? It's gone under 10 now, I see.
Yeah. I got on it at 10.5 on Sunday.
Get it at 10.5,
but yes, I would do that as well.
Can you answer this question? We just got a tip. We want to thank you for that, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Can you use this tip to purchase a flyer and use any proceeds for team paper or drinks for the staff? Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Teampaper.com. I mean, that's where you go for the post-game show. It's NIL stuff. Redistribute your wealth to the players.
Help.
It's legal.
Help. We need to help. Got to get kids to say yes.
It's not recruits. It's for the current roster.
I know, but
yeah.
it could be for recruits down the line.
Sure thing, Rob. You got it, man.
Marcus wants to know, do you think Jermaine Johnson ruined future transfers for us by setting the bar this high? No, he opened the door. Yep. It's the greatest thing that could have happened to us, to have multiple players come in the transfer portal and play well, and then maybe still get to where they wanted to go. Think about when he goes to Georgia and he's getting playing time for Georgia. In fact, he had, I think, 7 sacks there, right? He's at Georgia, one of the best defenses in the country, high profile SEC team, all of that. And yet he still decides, because obviously this is how elite and deep the Georgia defense is, that I'm not getting enough time. I'm going to leave. Well, he could have gone anywhere that he wanted to go. And he certainly could have gone to a place that would have given him more high-profile matchups week to week than Florida State, given the condition of our program. And yet he chose Florida State, and he has stood out nationally for his great play, and he is going to be drafted, maybe even in the first round, maybe. So if that is to happen, now all of a sudden I am a recruit, and I take a look at that, or I'm a player and I'm thinking about entering the transfer portal, and I'm shopping around places to go. Well, Florida State's on the list because of the cachet that Florida State brings to the table. And I just watched this guy, and this guy go there and still realize their dreams. That means that when he got to Florida State, they properly, obviously, assessed what he was, put him in a position to succeed, and then he played well, and went and realized. That all of that adds up to I'll go there.
And you know what he's going to say, and I'm sure it's true too. Listen, I was made really good by Georgia, but I was developed when I was at Florida State in the year that I had with them. That's also important. It's not like, oh, I was just a hired gun who they didn't teach me a thing, and I just showed up and I balled.
Right.
We helped develop.
Quickly, you've been called out again because you've really gotten soft on the transfer portal. Can you please? Thank you. There. Chef Cameron said 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. There it is.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state government, including public health and emergency response agencies, our friends at ISF recognize September as National Preparedness Month and want to help you be safe this hurricane season. Visit ISF.com to learn more and download your emergency preparedness plan today. ISF, solving the future.
Hey guys, it's Greg Tish here. If you know me, you know how much I love to grill, smoke, and cook outside. With the holidays just right around the corner and the cooler weather, there's nothing better than a backyard fire pit or a custom outdoor kitchen. But where do you start? Well, you start at Hearth and Patio of Tallahassee. They have everything for gas grilling, charcoal, standalone grills, built-ins, custom kitchens, unique high-end fire pits, and you can even build your own pizza oven. And don't forget about maintaining your indoor fireplace. If it hasn't been used in a while, it's a good idea to have Hearth and Patio come take a look at it to make sure it's safe to use. Or you can replace the whole thing and transform the look and style of your room. If it has anything to do with fire, you need to call Hearth and Patio. Write this number down. It's 727-4282. That's 727-4282. Or you can always check out their website to view all their products and services at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
There are endless options for storage sheds, carports, and gazebos from Southeast Portable Buildings. Put all your lawn equipment in new sheds so you can get that pool table and flat screen TV in your garage. Convert a storage shed into your very own happy hour place. 2 for 1 all day long. Want to try your hand at brewing your own beer? Get yourself your own brew barn. Looking to grow marijuana and get in on the game? Get yourself a grow shed. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
But I'm going to guess here, and I think it's a safe assumption, and I would scream from the mountaintops that we need to be on this and on this right now. As I read this to you, Tom, this should pique all of our interest as Noles. More bad news for the LSU Tigers, according to reports. Linebacker Devontique Strong, better known as Bug Strong.
Oh, yeah.
Cool-ass name. Has entered the transfer portal. Oh, but alas, there it is. There it is. Played in 5 games for them this year, but he's a backup. Just 17 tackles. Does have the 1 sack. He's behind Mike Jones Jr., who's a stud. He's behind Damone Clark. He's behind Mika Baskerville. There's too many good players there.
It's also a good name.
Yeah, that's a great name. Could be Hound. So the point I would make is, yeah, man, that dude was the number 1 JUCO linebacker in the country in 2021. Let's go. Let's go.
Don't just be strong.
Bug strong.
Be bug strong.
Latest player to enter the transfer portal for LSU. There will be more. Raid them. Bring me everyone.
Oh, boo.
Come on, that was good. That was good. Boo. 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row.
Oh. Jeez.
Corey talked about wearing a cow costume, and I got in that the chicks weren't moved, and that was really good.
Are you guys going to dress up for next week? Is that what's going on?
I don't think so. We should.
Oh, yesterday would have been the show, I guess.
Yeah, that would have been the one.
Yeah. I didn't get my Tom Kite costume. I'm sorry. I failed us all.
Oh, man.
I have a pirate costume I can wear on Friday, though, if you want. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. We could just come as we are. We just
all right, just come as Noles.
Yeah, yeah. So you already had Aaron Anderson and Edna Carr. Oh, Edna. Already decommit. Coy Moore entered the transfer portal. People in Baton Rouge are walking around, and in the distant background, they hear.
That's right. That's called conversation.
That's all they hear. That's all they get. So I get those players into Tallahassee. Let's roll, baby. Let's go. And let's start with Bug. Bug will be out here kicking ass next year for the Noles. That's what's going to happen. Let's go.
Hey, you never know. We might have Emmett Rice back next year. He might get a hardship.
Year 25.
That's right.
Emmett Rice. I love him. I'd like him to play. He plays hard. And he's more talented than what we have out there right now. So that would work.
Maybe some steps in the right direction, though. If you take a look at some of the numbers and you rewatch every play, we're tackling better at the position.
We are.
We're not always in position, but we're in position more often.
Well, all I'm saying is if you want to run against us, I'm okay. I mean, DJ Lundy will play downhill and bust your ass.
That's right.
The problem is he ain't going to cover anybody. So that's where you get into some problems. Again, the thing with Florida State right now is we've identified some guys that can help you, but they seem to be, in many cases, one-dimensional. That's what we got.
Amari's played better of late, too.
He's played better as of late.
In preseason camp, it wasn't even close. I guess we could talk about that more the farther you get away from it. But it was Deloach and Lundy. Like, it was clear.
Well, our fan base is delusional about Amari Gaynor, and I think it's because he's a legacy, and he looks the part too. When you look at him,
he looks the part.
When you look at him, you're like, that's a dude right there. But I got yelled at by our Florida State fans on Warchant.com when I was talking before the season about our linebackers, and I was like, well, they're just not very good, and Amari Gaynor's got to get a lot better.
You got yelled at on the message boards? When does that happen?
I know, imagine that. But I had pointed out that he was terrible in coverage. I mean, they just took advantage of him, and that he was a tweener, and that there were a lot of things that he just couldn't do, and that disappointed me. It's not that I don't have a strong liking for the kid. He seems to be nice enough. I was pointing out that he had weaknesses in his game that his body did not suggest he'd have. He looks like an All-American.
Right.
He just doesn't play like an All-American.
He's a tweener.
Yeah, he's a tweener. And so they were stuck as to what to do with him. And that was kind of my point. It was frustrating. He has played better. We don't have complete linebackers. We've got guys that do one thing, in some cases really well, and then something else they just absolutely struggle with. And it drives me nuts because my favorite player of all time is Marvin Jones. And, of course, Derek Brooks was one of the greatest players in program history as well. And you can go on for days about our linebackers. I mean, we had some really elite level linebackers for a very long time. And it's a place where you should always have good linebacker play. And we don't. We just haven't. And it's, kind of post-Telvin. We just really haven't had much to write home about at the position.
That's correct, post-Telvin. Terrence Smith was all right, but he was hurt often. And then after that, it was not so much. But in preseason camp, it looked like before any snap was taken in practice that it was going to be 33 and 32, Amari Gaynor and Steven Dix that had the edge. And then by week 2, week 3, you're like, oh, it's not even close. When you don't see Lundy and Deloach on the field, there is a significant drop-off. But I think they've all gotten better. Doesn't mean that they're magically complete linebackers, but I think they've gotten better, which is important because that's a position group that we're talking about from both a development standpoint and recruiting standpoint.
Yeah, and could get exposed this week.
It could, but I think it's turning around. I think we're going to have a nice little month here for Mr. Marv.
Some guy writes, and quite literally, it's some guy's his handle. Do you think that someone like Gaynor can become elite, or is he destined to be mediocre? He's destined to be mediocre. There you go.
Next question.
Yeah, he's destined. Now, can he get better? Yes. Can he continue to get better to a place where he's not a hindrance and you don't worry about him and he plays within a scheme doing a certain thing that he's geared to do well? Yeah. You got to find that. You got to build towards that. He's got to continue to get bigger and stronger. And yeah, he can do that.
I think he's close to there in terms of playing within.
About as best he can do, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know about maximize, but I think he's to a place where if he's on the field, they've got a role carved out for him and he finishes those plays. And that's more than we could have said a month ago.
That's fine. Hey, listen, Christian Jones did exactly that here, and he's doing it in the National Football League.
Yep.
So, I'm always hesitant to say that a guy can't go on to get the most out of what he is and find a role.
Oh, yeah, Vince Williams.
Oh, well, geez, yeah. I mean, he actually had
a career.
Very, very good career. If you go to the right system with the right – and I'm not saying – well, let me just say this. The chance of him ever being – as versatile as we thought he could be just by looking at him and what we thought he was coming in. Yeah, that ain't happening. He's revealed now that he's stiff enough in the hips. That's just not going to happen. Can he be, with a very defined role, a thing that is productive for your defense and it's an asset? Yes, he could. And that would lead one to go, oh, well, Jeff has picked on this guy for years and he's out here making 7 tackles a game. And no, he can be a productive player. He's never going to be elite. He's never going to be versatile.
The question was elite or mediocre. What's he going to be closer to?
More likely mediocre. But let's just hope he can zoom in, find this one thing. Let's go. See, the problem is he's not big enough really to be a Russian, and he's not fast enough in space as a linebacker. He doesn't have great instincts either. So there's a lot of things there that are kind of.
But he's finishing plays better. He's taking better angles, and if he gets his arms on you, you're going down. It's more likely to happen.
Guy, yeah.
But even before, he didn't have the right leverage, and you'd see him get in a position to make a play, and he wouldn't be able to finish the play. You're like, well, okay, we finally put you in a position you're not even going to finish. Mm-hmm. Then I'm going to stop calling for you to be on the field more.
I all but did that, right? I mean, I stopped talking about it. So did the coaches for a while. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Oh, Warchant TV. Before we go, let's do this thing. Let's give away some food from our friends over there at Which. a beautiful thing. Which Wicked Wednesday is here on Wednesdays. The Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5. Tallahassee listeners, viewers only, please. My cue to call is what you want to do here. We're going to give one away for you. That is 5 meats and 3 cheeses of goodness from Wicked. Well, from Which it is the Wicked. And your time to call to win a free one is right now. Caller 3. Make it happen.
386-TALK.
386-TALK.
86-8255.
386-TALK. Caller 3. We'll be back.
Your local news now.
Leon County school leaders updated their mask policy for students at Tuesday's Board of Education meeting. This time, the superintendent says their policy will be in compliance with state rules, hopefully ending financial penalties for the district. Students will still be required to wear masks indoors, but parents can opt them out without a doctor's note. District employees will be asked to wear masks indoors when appropriate. The city of Tallahassee and Leon County are breaking ground on what will be one of Florida's longest skate parks. As an intergovernmental project with Blueprint, one of the biggest needs for Tallahassee skaters was a safe and accessible place for kids to skate and not get into trouble. The new park will feature a 200-foot snake run featuring a Florida A&M Rattler, along with structures resembling the Korean War Memorial at Cascades Park. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a high of 79. Southerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Slight chance for scattered showers tonight, lows around 63. Overcast tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms likely, high of 80. Upper 60s Friday and Saturday with a chance for scattered showers Friday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 75.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASC trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Charlie Crist, he's running for governor. To mention the governor, I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. We see it in presidential. We see it all the time. It's the new norm. We even saw it in local. That it should be. It's like, hey, I'm running for this local seat.
Do you understand? I heard a statistic that like half of our population reads at like an 8th grade level.
And what is the other 2/3 grade?
That means almost half does not. You're right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
To 10 weeks. That's our life these days.
Yeah, he'll be back in time to go to the Olympics, and hold your breath when he's in the Olympics.
Screw the Olympics. Get it together, Kucherov. Don't worry about the Lightning winning a 3rd straight cup. Oh, what the hell? I'm reading the wrong thing here. Get it together, Jeff. I got all out of sorts with the Kucherov.
That wasn't a dated Kucherov thing that you're reading, was it?
No, it's not. While many other roofing companies hire out subcontractors to do their work for them, T-Spark Enterprises hires employees, and that's because they value the immense benefits that come with having a trusted, reliable, and highly trained crew that can be held to the high standards T-Spark is known for. Experts in their craft with pride in their work. That's the T-Spark difference. T-Spark is the best in town, period. Call them today at 766-1340. We'll get a free quote online at tsparkconstruction.com. I read that really well.
You did. That was quite good.
It was a good read. Anyhow, sorry. I said aside, I wanted to point out here, too, that Nagy is saying that he's not real sure that Mac is going to play against the 49ers. And I would have followed that question up as a Bears fan if I were. Okay, great. Khalil Mack may not play. Are they going to fire you next week? Because the Bears should fire Matt Nagy. That dude is ridiculous. There are moments in that game against the Bucs that I thought, my God, you have me out here feeling terrible for this poor kid at quarterback who you've left out to dry.
I'm sorry, which coach were you talking about? I was at tsparkconstruction.com. Somebody told me I just felt compelled to go to tsparkconstruction.com.
Yeah, Matt Nagy's dumbass.
Yeah, well, indeed. Isn't he restricted this week? Didn't he get a test positive for COVID, or was that
they should fire him. I mean, yeah. I don't know what they're waiting on. They should fire him.
Yeah, I thought that effort. And you know what? The NFL is weird. Just when you expect somebody to get the axe, like when Minnesota's kicker last year, for example, missed like 74 kicks in one game.
That's a toughie.
It's a new NFL record. And they kept him on the roster.
And he's still doing all right. Yeah.
How is he not on the plane?
Yeah.
They should have left him on the tarmac.
Well, he missed a ton against the Bucs.
You're through a quarter and a half against the Bucs. And this reminds me of Byron, first year with Jameis. Only leaving 5 in to protect. Nobody else. Yeah. They can't block it. They can't do it. We didn't have Tristan Wirfs in those days, and there was just an all-out rush on every single play. And this kid's a rookie in the formative moments of his development, and you're not going to help him? You're going to have him go run for his life? Man, that's not what you do, because after I fire you, you've already set this kid back a year in his development. So you're doing more damage than good beyond the wins and losses. You're doing more damage to the long-term care of the program. Listen to me, it's college. To the franchise, he's gone. He's got to be. I'd be furious.
Yeah, no. I think Bears fans are. That's just an aside. But we got to see it up close and personal watching that game this past Sunday. I thought, ooh, that's not what you do. This thing is all wrong. He got my man out here just taking an ass beating on every play.
Expect them to go down there, play good defense. You're like, wow, there's really nothing.
They got nothing.
They don't care.
No, they got nothing right now. They've checked out on that guy. I did like that we're already to a place, and I know it's got to make him crazy, but they welcomed back Todd McShay at ESPN. He had to take a leave of absence, if you recall. You don't know this whole story?
No.
Well,
is it for like a bad personal reason, or is it nefarious reasons?
No. I think it's a medical reason, and okay. Not that I'm aware of. Listen, you can go find it. Wasn't one of his better moments. He was on the sideline for a game last year, and they went to him. It wasn't good. It sounded like he was in the bag.
Oh, that he had been tailgating.
It sounded like Chris Berman.
Yeah, Chris Berman at the Cubs World Series.
Yeah, he sounded like that. Now, at the time that I saw that, I went, "Oh no!" I mean, it's an afternoon game, and my man is in the bag on the sidelines.
Right.
But turned out he had COVID, and callers, like viewers of the game, were calling in to ESPN going, "Hey, man, somebody needs to go check on your boy. He looks terrible, and he's making no sense. He's slurring. He looks puffy. Everything about him looks bad." So naturally, when I saw that, I thought, oh, he was getting after the booze a little bit. Turns out he had COVID, and he had a really bad reaction, as some people have, obviously, 600,000 plus dead. But anyhow, my man ended up having to be hospitalized. He didn't see his family or his kids or anything for over 40 days.
Whoa, I had no idea.
And then when he recovered, he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take some time away, everybody. I gotta get right." I don't know what any of that means as far as the extra time off and all that, but if you noticed, he was gone. You couldn't find him anywhere. He was like, think about it. When was the last time you saw him?
I don't know the last time I looked for him. I'm glad he's healthy.
Yeah. So he made his return, I guess, this week on Get Up or whatever. And even Greenberg was like, we're excited to have him back. So he's been gone a long time, Tom. Why do I bring this up? It's not the trials and travails of Todd McShay and his family. It's because we've got a mock.
All right.
We got a mock. And he's got Thibodeau number 1, obviously going from
Todd. We're excited to have you back. I'm glad everything is ironed out. When's that mock?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, let's get to it.
We're about 3 months behind.
Well, the reason I bring it up is I want to look at this top 4, man. The top 4 are all, you're like, yep, that'll do it. Kayvon Thibodeau, who's a beast, obviously. Derek Stingley Jr., who's a beast at LSU. Evan Neal, and we think about what could have been because we got the wrong Neal. And then,
well, even with Thibodeau, I mean, if we didn't bother to get blown out by Virginia Tech, he might have
been here.
Yeah,
that's true. And then Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame, who can go quite literally sideline to sideline faster than anybody we have ever seen in our life.
I thought you were going to say, who can go F himself? That's just totally what that sounded like was coming.
No, he's a beast. He is a beast. I didn't realize he's 6'4", 225 pounds.
6'4"? No, I would have guessed 6'2". I thought he was rangy, but 6'4" is...
He's 6'4", 225.
Wow. Yeah,
running like a 5'11", 4'1" guy.
I really, that first pick was on Jordan. That second one, he's doing everything right.
It's just an insane
That's
pick.
just a center fielder who has Andrew Jones type jump on stuff.
It was one of the best. I mean, that's we've seen a lot of plays since then. It was opening night.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen a better one in all of college. Well, okay, the interception from the OU kid. That interception, the one hand, that thing was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that.
Yeah. I mean, there are a couple of truckings. There are more truckings in college football these days, which I love to see.
Well, hell, there are more truckings every week in the NFL. Any game that a certain running back at Tennessee plays in is a guaranteed 4 or 5 truckings.
That's actually an interesting game. They got Indianapolis this weekend. And Indy's run defense is pretty good. It might force old Tannehill to throw the ball a little bit.
Tannehill.
Yeah. I suppose I shouldn't do that anymore.
Well, you could. I mean, it was funny. But, no, they're playing great right now. All of a sudden, the Titans are like, hey, guys, did you notice we beat both Buffalo and Kansas City? Get you some of that back-to-back. That's doing some things.
It's an interesting spot, though. The Colts might be a live dog.
I think I know who Tom's going with. By the way, tomorrow's Redemption Thursday show is going to be fun. I may give you 15 games. I love the slate. Going to be a good slate.
How was the Giant card last week?
The Giant card went well. I didn't bet enough games, and I learned. Let me tell you something.
Okay, like Fred Flintstone.
Here's what my dumbass did. So I have a philosophy. I believe you need to bet in bulk. You don't need to bet 2 games. You need to bet 25. Now that sounds like, oh, you got a problem. No.
Right.
You can't just hand pick games. If you've got a feeling, if you have a play, I'm not saying just make up a play. If you've got a play on a game and you're writing it down for the week and the number is 18, don't run for the hills. Play the 18 games. And go 10-8 and make your profit, or go 11-7 and make your profit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pick 3 of the 18 because you feel really strong about those 3. That's a recipe for disaster. I did that like a dummy because me of all people, I got afraid of my 20 games that I like.
Oh no!
So then you know what I did? I chased on Sunday, and thank God I won. I had the 3-team teaser pleaser. So
you did 2 things wrong. But you didn't bet your gut, and then you chased, but you got bailed out.
Oh, I got bailed out because I'm shrewd. I saw that 3-team teaser pleaser, and I said, that's a 3-team teaser pleaser I can get down with. And I did it, and I won. And that was at plus 160.
There you go. All right.
That works. And I was like, all right, a little plus 163. And the Dolphins paid it off. I was so scared. And they scored that last touchdown. I was like, we're in the money, boys. We just have to, because I teased it up to 8. We're good to go.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
I just needed them to cover. They could choke all day long, and they did. But
man, they got problems out of nowhere.
Yeah,
looked like Flores had that whole operation buttoned up, ready to go.
Tua's pick was the dumbest thing you'll ever see. I was like, what? You're going to make me hate you.
Well, that's what they're saying about the pick of Tua as well.
Well, the pick he threw that really led this whole thing to be in disarray. I thought, oh, well, we've got problems here. But hey, you know what? They did go back down and score. It's a big deal. That +8 carried the day. And then, of course, I easily covered with New England and Green Bay.
Gesicki's a good player.
Really good player.
Yeah.
That's a big, strong dude.
He's sneaky good.
Sneaky good player. Come back, wrap it up momentarily.
Maximizing your Social Security benefits isn't something they want you to know how to do. Many people are unaware of unused benefits that are owed to them. Hi, this is Craig Collins from Collins Income Tax Solutions. And if you're wondering whether or not your Social Security is going to be there for you, I can help. Contact me today to schedule a free consultation to learn how we can help maximize your Social Security benefit.
Onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, you know these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Leaky faucet, busted pipes, clogged toilet? M&L Plumbing is here for you. For all commercial, construction, and residential plumbing issues, call M&L Plumbing at 575-9393 or visit online at mnlplumbing.com.
That is the smell of amazing barbecue from Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue. There's only one thing that could possibly make Kenny's Amazing Barbecue better, and that's an ice-cold adult beverage. Now you can do just that. Pair an ice-cold beer with all your Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue favorites. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, 1 mile north of Havana. Get your fill at the grill.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at woodenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I should probably let everybody know a couple of things. First of all, tonight, what time, Tom, for Wake Up Warchant live?
Live at 5:45 right here for those of you who are watching on Warchant TV. The podcast will be available in the morning for those of you that do that. But if you want to interact live, 5:45 p.m.
Probables brought to you by our friends at North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering the payroll and HR services, I should say, not anything. It's payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com. Cue it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
All right. 8:09 p.m., Minute Maid Park on Fox. Game 2, World Series, Max Fried, Jose Urquidy. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the month.
I'm going to miss this music at the end of the show. I mean, it's going to play us out, but
we'll have to do it.
Yeah.
I created a debate, apparently, because I talked about Marvin Jones being my favorite player of all time, and he is at Florida State lore. That said, it's fun to listen to all you guys or read your thoughts on the Warchant TV here, weighing in on your favorite linebackers and guys that you thought were great. What it does is remind me of how many damn fine linebackers we've had over the years and need to get back to having, because we don't have them currently. And that is really, really frustrating. We were, for a time, a mass producer of excellence at the position. And I will note that while some of you would say that it was Derek Brooks was your favorite guy, or you might point to somebody else on the list of great players, Sam Cowart was a great linebacker. He was not Marvin Jones. Don't do that.
Favorite player in the Jimbo era to present, quickly.
Tim Jernigan.
Great answer. I got to go with Dalvin.
Yeah, that's the other answer. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Enjoy the day. Talk to you tomorrow.